The construction of the Panama Canal stands as one of the greatest engineering projects in human history. For centuries, engineers and explorers dreamed of a shortcut between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, but the dense jungles and mountains of Panama made it seem impossible. The first idea of the Panama Canal was presented by the Spanish conquistador Vasco Núñez de Balboa, who first crossed the Isthmus of Panama in 1513. He wrote in his journal about the possibility of a canal, but did not take action. Back in the late 1800s, French actually tried to build a canal under the famous engineer Ferdinand de Lesseps, the guy who built the Suez Canal. But Panama was nothing like Egypt. The jungle, the rainfall, the mountains, the diseases, it was brutal. Over 20,000 workers died, mostly from yellow fever and malaria. The French effort collapsed in 1889. In 1904, the Americans took over the project after backing Panama's independence from Colombia. And with that, the U.S. got both control and responsibility for one of the biggest infrastructure projects in history. U.S. developed the whole idea of the Gatun lake system and the lock-based elevation system. Instead of digging down to sea level, engineers raised up ships by using a system of massive locks and a man-made lake. But the real secret weapon of this mega-project is medicine. U.S. government brought in Dr. William Gorgus, who figured out how to control mosquito-borne diseases like malaria and yellow fever. That saved thousands of lives and kept the project moving. After a decade of work and thousands of lives lost, the Panama Canal opened on August 15, 1914, just as World War I began. Before the canal, ships going from New York to San Francisco had to sail all the way around the tip of South America. Cape Horn, one of the most dangerous routes in the world. That was 8,000 extra miles, taking months longer and costing more. When the Panama Canal opened in 1914, the canal created a shortcut that can economically transport goods across long distances and transform global supply chains by reducing travel times and shipping costs. The Panama Canal involves a significant portion of global maritime trade. Roughly 14,000 ships pass through each year, carrying over 330 million tons of cargo. These vessels connect producers and consumers from Asia, the Americas, and Europe. The United States is one of the largest users of Panama Canal, and approximately 40% of all U.S. container traffic passes through the Panama Canal, highlighting the nation's heavy reliance on this route for its imports and exports. The Panama Canal is a strategic lifeline for U.S. economy, and its smooth operation is very important, influencing everything from retail prices to manufacturing costs. The Panama Canal wasn't just about ships, it was about power. Whoever controls the canal controls a strategic choke point of global power. During both World Wars, the U.S. military used the canal to move naval ships quickly between oceans. In the Cold War, the canal was seen as a weak point that had to be protected from Soviet influence or leftist uprisings in Latin America. The strategic location of Panama Canal has been a central concern for global powers. It sat at the center of U.S. military operations and diplomatic strategy. The canal wasn't just a waterway, it was a front line. Even today, it's a focal point of global competition, because it's not about who owns the canal on paper, it's about who influences it in practice. Trade routes, port operations, contracts and security, they all feed into the geopolitical weight. The United States played a major role of the construction and control of the Panama Canal, marking a significant chapter in American foreign policy. After World War II, U.S. control of the canal and surrounding canal zone became contentious. Relations between Panama and the United States became increasingly tense. Many Panamanians felt that the zone rightfully belonged to Panama. Student protests were met by the fencing in of the zone and an increased military presence there. On September 7, 1977, U.S. President Jimmy Carter and Omar Torrijos signed the Torrijos-Carter Treaty, setting the process of transferring control of the canal to Panama, so long as Panama guaranteed the permanent neutrality of the canal. The treaty became effective on October 2, 1979, providing for a 20-year period in which Panama would have increasing responsibility for canal operations before a complete U.S. withdrawal and full Panamanian control on December 31, 1999. Since then, the canal has been administered by the Panama Canal Authority. The Panama Canal remains one of the main revenue sources for Panama. In 2006, Panama Canal Authority aimed to accommodate the increasing size of modern cargo ships, particularly the Neopanamax vessels, and represent a new generation of maritime transport. The expansion involved the construction of a new lane of traffic, more efficient locks, allowing ships to carry more volumes of cargo and improving the canal's capacity. The United States faces a security paradox concerning the canal's continued neutrality, security, accessibility, and efficient operations for its economy and global power. The Panama Canal plays a significant role in U.S.-China trade competition, particularly in the global container shipping industry. Both nations are major players in this sector, with shipping companies, ports, and logistics networks that rely heavily on canal access. Any changes of the canal could affect the cost of transporting goods, giving an advantage to exporters from one country or the other. The canal's efficiency in reducing shipping times and costs directly impacts on the trade balance and overall economic relationship between these two global powers. China's economic influence in Latin America has been increasing in recent decades, transforming the region's economic landscape and presenting new geopolitical dynamics. China has become a major trading partner for many Latin American countries. Chinese companies have heavily invested in various infrastructure projects in the region, including ports, railways, and logistics facilities. China's Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, has expanded its economic footprint across the globe, including the Caribbean region, which is strategically located near the Panama Canal and holds significant importance for global trade and maritime routes. Chinese companies have invested in and developed port facilities in several Caribbean nations, often through loans and infrastructure projects, raising concerns about China's long-term objectives. The United States sees that and worries about the influence of canal control. These aren't random moves, it's a strategic game, and access to the canal is a major piece of the puzzle. Even though the canal is managed by the Panamanians, global powers are circling, each hoping to secure their stake. Canal access, priority in shipping schedules, and infrastructure partnerships. It's a low-key competition with high results. This is what modern trade warfare looks like. Not guns and tanks, but contracts, port leases, and container manifests. The Panama Canal also faces a growing threat from climate change and geopolitical instability, transforming it into a potential choke point in the 21st century. Climate change is leading to more frequent and severe droughts that reduce water levels in Gatun Lake, the primary source for the canal's lock system. These droughts can cause delays, increasing shipping costs, and limiting cargo capacity of the ships. At the same time, rising geopolitical tensions between the United States and China could threaten the canal's smooth operation and neutrality. Any political instability, conflict, or trade war could lead to the canal becoming a strategic choke point. The Panama Canal's future success depends on its ability of handling challenges and opportunities of a new competitive world. The canal faces increasing competition from other shipping routes, such as the Suez Canal, which is also undergoing expansion. To remain competitive, the Panama government must continue to invest in infrastructure, improve efficiency, and maintain good relationships with global partners. So I hope you enjoy the video. See you in the next videos.